Hello everybody and welcome to the GKaiser Age, Gunpla Build Mechanics series. My name is Lucian GKaiser and today we're going to be taking a look at the Bandai high-grade Gundam Build Divers Re Core Gundam Earthree Armor Type. So let's get started. GKaiser Age, launching! Here we have the Core Gundam from Gundam Build Divers Re, the latest Gundam animated series at the time of this video, and I am enjoying it a lot. The Core Gundam was built and piloted by Hiroto Kuga, a young man who plays as a mercenary in the Gundam Battle Nexus online game. It is a very unique Gundam design, being only 14.7 meters tall and is one of the smallest Gundams known, even smaller than the Crossbone Gundam. While its overall firepower and durability are limited in this mode, Hiroto is able to make use of his superior combat piloting skills along with the speed, small size, and maneuverability to compensate for these limitations. The color scheme of the Core Gundam is reminiscent of the RX-78-2 Gundam Real type colors, and the other Core Gundam model kits will come molded in different Gundam color schemes as well. This one is my particular favorite out of all of them though, but I am looking forward to have each version on my shelf soon. The only decals that it actually comes with in this kit are the ones for the eyes, the head camera, the beam rifle, the shield targeting sensor, and the planet's system support flyer. The other decals that you see on my Core Gundam are ones I use from different Gunpla kits I have in my collection because I love giving my high-grade Gunpla some extra decals that they don't really have to make them feel more alive. Now, let's get into the details of this Gunpla. GKaiser Age, Gunpla Build Mechanics System, Analyze. The head design of the Core Gundam is one of my favorite designs. It is very close in design to the Strike Gundam with the way the sides of the head are designed, but the V-fin is very different in this mode. There's a lot of great detail on the head of the unit, and I really love that because it really gives the Core Gundam great personality along with a good range of motion, as you can see here. The beam Vulcans mounted on the sides of the head are done so in the same style as the Eagle Stellum head Vulcans on the Strike Gundam. The beam Vulcans are meant for intercepting missiles, anti-personnel work, anti-light vehicle interception, and of course are able to strike the weak points like the head cameras on other mobile suits. The range of motion for the arms is very good for such a small Gundam, something that will translate later into its full Gundam mode. They can move forward, back with a good shoulder design, upper arm rotation as well, and a solid double bend at the elbow so you get a great flex. The hands are on a ball joint, allowing for a pretty good range of movement, but while I like the look of the hands, they are not the best designed hands Bandai has done. The hands tend to pop apart due to a very weak connection, so I plan on using a very small amount of model glue on them after this review. Also, it does not come with alternate hands, and due to the design of the armor pieces that get added on in the full Gundam mode, you can't really use other high-grade hands without leaving those armor pieces to the side. The body has a very unique design with the chest jewel on it, though it lacks a torso crunch, and the upper torso twist is limited by the waist design. The backpack of the Core Gundam has a single large, high-output thruster, which helps to give the unit excellent speed and mobility. There are two core beam sabers mounted on swiveling hilts that can move into an upright position, but in the Core Gundam mode, they are positioned downward. These core beam sabers act as short beam sabers while in Core Gundam mode, and the model kit comes with beam saber effect parts to replicate the shorter beam blades. The waist is pretty standard. It has a very small front skirt pieces, but these are more for the other mode of the Gunpla kit. In the anime, the red piece at the front there holds a very nice throwback to the original Mobile Suit Gundam TV series, containing a super heat resistant sheet for atmospheric re-entry. The gimmick of it sliding open is sadly not replicated with the model kit, but I thought it would be fun to mention that. There is a hole on the underside of the waist to allow the core Gundam to be mounted on different display stands with standard peg size. Onto the legs, though they are short, they are very powerful with great flexibility, allowing for the core Gundam to execute high mobility moves. They have a fairly good spread, which is only limited by the design for the hip connection, which of course contains the upper thigh rotation. They have a very nice forward and back kick range, and then a very good bend at the knee as well, so you can really get a good range of posability out of the core Gundam. Since they are part of the transformation, the feet have a very unique build around the ankles, allowing for a very unique and good range of motion, and even with such small feet, the core Gundam can still assume some very stable poses. The core Gundam comes armed with a core beam spray gun and a core shield. While the core beam spray gun is not very powerful and limited to short and medium range attacks, it can fire shots in rapid succession, allowing for it to do significant damage over time. The core shield is a standard small size shield and serves as a base for the full shield when it becomes the full Gundam Earthree. There is a peg on the shield that allows it to plug into either of these two different back adapter pieces. You can mount these on the back of the core Gundam, and they can even allow the core Gundam to mount weapons or backpacks from other Gunpla. Now, let's take a look at the main special equipment of the core Gundam, the Planet System Support Flyer Unit carrying the Earth Armor. The Planet System Support Flyer Unit can be remotely controlled by Hiroto and can even be used to carry the core Gundam itself into battle. It is armed with high-power, long-range beam cannons, one on each side of the main body, then the core Gundam beam rifle barrel extension that acts as its own beam cannon. Because the Planet System Support Flyer is meant to only be as a transport for the planet's armor themselves into battle, its power supply is limited, so it will fire a few shots, then deploy the armor that Hiroto needs. It comes with the stand that you see here, but you can also mount it on, of course, a Bandai stand, which is very nice. It reminds me of the Impulse Gundam with its silhouette flyer system. I have to admit I have a weakness for a mecha that combine to build into a bigger mecha. Speaking of combining, go core docking! Core Gundam to Earthree Gundam. Here we have the Earthree Gundam, combination of the core Gundam and the Earth Planet System armor. I love how awesome this Gundam looks. When I first saw it in the trailers for Gundam Build Divers Re, I instantly wanted a model kit of it. Bandai did an amazing job of bringing the Earthree Gundam to life in Gunpla form. The look, the feel, everything is very solid after combining the core Gundam and the Earth armor. Now it stands at a full 18.7 meters. For the size comparison, here is the Earthree Gundam standing with the high grade GM, and then the real grade Gundam Mark II. They look great together. The Earthree Gundam is an imposing fighting machine designed for balanced combat with good mobility, firepower, and melee, as well as being decently armored. The armor is a medium weight reinforced layered blend, allowing for a good balance between defense and mobility for the Earthree Gundam. This shade of blue is one of my personal favorites, not too dark and not too light, just perfect, and adding a few extra details to it really helps to break up the blue so it's not too overwhelming. Adding on the Earth armor doesn't impede the posability of the figure, though I do find that the shoulder pieces are a little bit loose, but not to the point where it becomes a major concern. Now the forearm pieces that attach to what were the wrists on the core Gundam tend to pop off sometimes during posing the figure. The armored skirt pieces also have a tendency to pop off sometimes when positioning the legs, and speaking of the legs, their range of movement is not really restricted at all, so you can easily get some fantastic poses out of the Earthree Gundam. The core spray gun gets upgraded as well into the Earthree Gundam beam rifle, and I really love the design of this beam rifle. Though the prongs on the front of it can be a bit difficult to keep lined up in the Gunpla model kit, the power output and the range have been greatly increased thanks to the Earthree beam rifle barrel, allowing for the Earthree Gundam to penetrate enemy armor and shields at range. The core Gundam shield also gets enhanced by combining with the Earthree shield part. This part contains high capacity energy cells and acts as an extra layer of reinforced armor. You can also combine it with the beam rifle to recreate the blast shooting mode, where the energy stored up in the shield is directed into the beam rifle, allowing it to release a massive, powerful, extremely long range beam blast that the Gundam Virtue would be proud of. It does take some time to set this up and to actually charge up and then release the charged up energy, so it does leave the Earthree Gundam in a vulnerable spot, not really being able to move too much until the charge is done and the beam is fired. Of course, after the beam is fired, there is a time frame for it to actually recharge before it can be fired. It was a little bit difficult to actually pose the figure into this particular setup because of the fact that the hands tend to like to pop apart a lot. So I definitely recommend, again, adding a little glue on them, and that should tighten them up and make sure that you can make this a lot easier to replicate from the show. The core beam sabers remain the same, but since the Earthree Gundam has a higher output, the beam sabers are no longer restricted to a short blade. With the full beam saber, it can easily slash through most mobile suit armor, and the Gunpla comes with the effect parts for the longer beams. Interestingly enough, the beam saber blades are actually flat like those seen on the Age 2 Gundam model kits. So that's an interesting little bit of a difference. Not the usual standard round beam sabers, so I like the design though. So in the end, I can highly recommend the core Gundam and its Earthree Gundam mode as a great Gunpla kit and a nice one for younger Gunpla builders. It's a fun build and not too difficult and fun to play with. It has great posability with the backpack option parts. You can easily add on other weapons and expand it to make some custom builds. Now the hands once again are just of course the worst part of the kit. And, since the actual plug-in part is pretty standard size, you can always use hands from other Gunpla kits, and that way you can also use weapons from other Gunpla kits that fit in those specific hands. So once again, more customized ability and more fun that you can have with it, and that's the big thing. How fun is the kit to play with? And that's what we're all about here in the GKaiser Age. So once again, if you want to get one of these here, definitely check out Hobby Link Japan, the USA Gundam store, or you can even check out your local Barnes & Nobles because they've started carrying tons of Gunpla, and the last time I was there, they had a huge stack of this guy just waiting for people to pick up. So I highly recommend grabbing one if you love a good solid Gunpla with some good customization, also along with the fact that it just poses very well, and the optional armor and the optional flyer make for some very unique, fun playtime. So again, I want to thank you all for joining me here in the GKaiser Age. If you enjoyed this video, then target and fire at that like button to help the channel grow, and then download your thoughts about it into the comment section below. Also, don't forget to link up with the subscribe button and activate the bell icon if you want to be alerted by the YouTube early warning system when I upload videos, so that way you can engage them. Don't forget to use the share system to data link the video to your friends and then dock the video into your favorites. Check out the GKaiser Age playlist data file if you want to see more videos like this. But again, I want to thank you for joining me here in the GKaiser Age. I will see you all again in the next Gundam Build Divers Re battle.